Mining job hunt video. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and today we're going to be collecting jobs for the sponsors Mining Jobs to Apply For page. So these are all the jobs from around the country that we collect that we think you should be doing once you've finished either their work ready or their DIY package. So let's jump over to Seek and type underground in and give it a spin. But before we go looking through that, I just want to say congratulations to Jacob, who got himself a job as an offsider over here in WA. He did the sponsors work ready package about 4 or 5 weeks ago and relocated over here to WA and got a couple of job offers within the first week of being here. So well done, mate. I hope you have a long and profitable career. So let's have a look at these jobs. So mining vacancies, residential. So KCA, the sponsor's got a partnership program with them. They'll look at anybody that's done the training for jobs, but like everything else, they want experienced and entry level, but these are for residential based in Kalgoorlie. So you'll have to get yourself to Cal if you want one of these jobs. But there are a lot there, and a lot of people use Kalgoorlie as a stepping stone. They don't see it as a permanent relocation. They see it as a temporary relocation for 6 to 12 months. But just be aware that I know a few people that have gone to Kalgoorlie for only 6 months that have been there for 20 odd years. So, you know, the place can grow on you. We've had 3 separate stints there as a family, so it's not too bad. It's like anywhere else in the world, it's what you make it. Experienced truck operators. Now, we've talked about experience before on the channel, and I'm going to make a video about it today with the unwritten rules. But all these employers are looking for experience because they don't want to have to train. And the reason that they don't want to have to train is because training's messy with a lot of turnover. So these guys are trying to poach, but chances are they're not going to get anybody, or the people that they're going to get aren't going to be the best, and the reason that they're getting them is because they couldn't make it on the mine sites that they were truck driving on, or they couldn't get promotion on those sites. Every now and then you get somebody that's come through that's been stuffed around and just needs to move sites for a fresh start. But it's not always like that. Often, you know, the foremans are pretty wary of, hiring dead wood. And that's the last thing that you want to do, is hire a bunch of dead wood to drive your trucks, because it's not going to help you with your production targets, because they are just going to cruise around and not achieve a real lot. That's why they're dead wood. So there's a fair bit around again. And I'm going to talk about the gold price as well, because that hit another new high in Australian dollars over the week, and it didn't make the media at all for a second time. So for those that have been following what I've been writing about it, you'll understand my frustration with it. And I'm pretty sure that that's a grader job. I had a look at this before. Yep. So it's a funny way to title up a grader job, but that looks like a grader job there. But yeah, those that follow the channel will know my frustration about the gold price. It's pretty high at the moment. You can just flick over there and have a look. It closed the weekend at $29.78 in Australian dollars, so it's only $22 off $3,000. And at that price, you know, everybody's making a bucket load of money. So everybody's trying to ramp up everything up, and that's where the jobs are going to be. I just don't know why the media is not covering it. I did have a question on the channel about getting a job as an Agi driver, whether they thought it was a good start. Yes, it is, but just be aware that they turn over a lot of the Agi drivers just the same as the underground truck drivers and nippers. So if you're really, if you've got the Agi experience and you want to jump into it, my recommendation is to marry that up with the DIY training. It'll teach you everything that you need to know about how it all works, so you're not going to get lost, and you're going to know what's going on, so you can just hit the ground running. It's the best way to do it, because otherwise people just can't get their head around how it all works. and they just get lost in the whole mine, and with not knowing what's going on, and it's an easy way to get turned over, unfortunately, and you only have to be in it for the industry for not very long to see all the people that you go through. I end up talking to a lot of people that work on camps as utilities because they want to make the jump into the production mining jobs. And the one thing that they all notice too is the amount of people that go through the joint, especially the new starters. It's an ongoing problem, and it's just something that the industry is just going to have to deal. Well, they're trying their best to deal with it, but it is what it is. If you're going green, you've got more than a 50% chance of being turned over. If you educate yourself before you go, that you can drop that down to less than 10%. It's just all about knowing what's going on in the system. Charge up. And like I was talking about last week, all these charge up jobs that are going, they're either going to have to train somebody or poach somebody from another mine. And if they poach somebody from another mine, that puts that mine in the same position. They either have to hire somebody or train somebody. And eventually somebody's got to train somebody somewhere. And that means entry-level jobs underneath. Safety and training, lots of safety and training jobs going. Lots of training having to happen. Experienced mine operators. So this is asked for experience, but if you come down and have a look at the ad, they're talking about truck operators, entry-level miners, service crew, mill operators, loader operators. So they really are looking for everybody there. So that's a good example of that. You should, you need to have a look at these ads, and like I tell people too, once you've done the training, you should be applying to all the nipper, truck, offsider and service crew jobs, even if they do ask for experience, because chances are that they're not going to get anybody, and if you can hold a conversation with them about how their mine works, then you've generally got something to offer them. So that's the way, you can get in, but if people just don't apply for enough of these jobs, it just doesn't happen. People wait for traineeships to come up or entry-level job ads to come up, and if you're applying to an entry-level job ad, you're probably applying with about 10,000 other people. If you're applying to an experienced mining ad, you're probably applying to it with maybe 50, 100 people. So they'll look through the experienced ones, and if there's if they don't like what's there, or they take, there's not enough of what's there, they'll go to the next lot because they all seem keen. And if you've got your resume in there and you've done the training, then that sticks out like dog's balls, and I'm yet to meet a foreman or a project manager that doesn't want to talk to somebody that's done the training, because if they get somebody that's studied, they normally get somebody that's going to be up to speed within 3 or 4 weeks instead of the 2 or 3 months that it normally takes. So this is that Glencore ad that's been up for Mount Isa for people working on the mill. They've been running this ad for about, I think, 3 or 4 weeks in a row. So they're obviously really desperate for people up there. Control room operator, manager, Sparky. Let's have a look at that. Oh, it looks like it's a Northern Star, Thunderbox and Broswing operations. Okay, so that's a surface job, so we'll put that in. That's a rare one. That's what I like about this. You never know what's going to come up. I'll add that in, and I'll load that up on the Facebook pages for everybody. I'm sure that they will enjoy that. Swick, Drillers Offsiders. Swick are always looking for people. They are a underground diamond drilling company, but they do other things as well now. So they've got a few fingers and a few pies. Ancillary, alternative senior. underground electricians, production workers, black coal, alternative underground manager, drillers assistants, Tasmania. We'll have a go at that one. There's a fair bit of stuff going on in Tasmania at the moment, guys. They're opening up quite a fair bit around there. A lot of mothballed mines are all coming back because it's all about batteries these days. It's everything that's going into a battery and gold. And we've already had a look at the high price of gold, but nickel's almost $35,000 a tonne Australian at the moment, and copper's over $13,000 a tonne, which makes all the mines around Australia really profitable. And like I keep on telling everybody, it's where you should be looking for your job. So that's the Swick again, but they're looking for people in Tasmania. Speak of the devil. Diesel fitter, mining, maintenance, paste fill coordinator, Northern Star, Grader Operator, underground sampler. Can be a good place to start, but a lot of people get really comfortable in that role and end up doing it for a long period of time. It can be fairly cruisy if you're working with a good lot of geologists, and most geologists are fairly easygoing in my experience over the years. Underground electrician, warehouse labourer, drill fitter, all round. Nothing on that one. Trades. Mine geologist. Maintenance electricians. Surface maintenance. Drills offsiders. This ad's always up, so I don't post that. Powerhouse mining. Senior mining engineer. General manager. Mine geologist. Pump crew. BMA. Boilermaker, diesel, mining engineer. Tradespeople, leading hand. I'll have a look at one more and see where it goes. I did see one up before, and I'll have a quick look and see if I can find it, because it was a job in Tasmania and expressions of interest with Ruck. Superintendents Africa. Alright, let's have a look and see if I can get this one with Ruck. There we go. Straight away. And this is in Tasmania, and it's expressions of interest, but it's jumbo operators, nippers, bogger operators, fitters, so it's the whole everything. I'm surprised that they're not asking for truck drivers. Maybe wherever they're going, the client is supplying the truck drivers themselves, but that is a good one. I don't know, I didn't see that before. But anyway, that's a good way to finish. So there's jobs all over the country. So if we jump onto our map, and this map's loaded up with all the gold and base metals that are going into the batteries around the country, you can see all the mines around the place. Everybody's pretty much looking for entry level all over the country. But like I said with Jacob before, he was in Queensland and made the decision that he wanted to relocate to Perth because he thought that that was going to give him a better opportunity to get a job, and the proof was in the pudding. He was, in work. Well, landed a job within almost a week of getting to Perth. And it just shows you that if you educate yourself and you know the system and you understand how it all works, it just makes it so much easier to get a job. And that's what the sponsors training does for you. It helps you understand how the system works so you know what you're getting yourself into. And I can't stress that enough. Knowing what you're getting yourself into and showing the employer that you know what you're getting yourself into, that's what gets you the job, because that's what says to the employer that you're going to be able to swim. In the sink or swim training that's offered, being thrown in the deep end, it shows the employer that you're going to be ready to be thrown in the deep end and you're going to be able to do what you got to do. So that's why, it works. But yeah, there's jobs all over the country. It's just a matter of preparing yourself and then applying, and be ready to apply too. It's no use seeing a job and then going, oh, okay, I'm going to prep myself. You need to be prepped and ready and waiting for these jobs to come up. And sometimes people are lucky enough that they walk straight into a job on the East Coast, but when it comes up, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Like I said, if you really want to make a plan, then Kalgoorlie or Perth's probably a great place to come to try and get your first mining job at the moment. So I hope you found that information helpful. Gold made a new high in Australian dollars. I wrote a blog about it over the weekend. I got a bit pissed off about it, and basically you can read the blog for yourself, but the media is not covering the gold price, and if the media is not covering the gold price, they're not covering the jobs that are created through that high gold price. And that's why a majority of people are just looking in the wrong place. They're looking at coal and they're looking at iron ore when they should be looking at gold and base metal mines. It's as simple as that. So you can have a look through that blog if you want. It's on the sponsors website in their blog section. And yeah, if you've got any questions about the industry that you want answered, please send them through. If you could share this information around and like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.